Look around the room for a moment, wherever you are. Let your shoulders drop and don't hold your breath. Most people try to change their lives by changing circumstances, jobs, partners, habits, apps. But before anything shifts outside, something rearranges inside. And that internal shift begins every time with breath. This isn't self help, this isn't manifestation, this is mechanics. Breath is the interface between you and your nervous system. You don't control thoughts directly, you don't control emotions directly, but the moment breath changes, everything downstream responds. Breath isn't relaxation, breath isn't meditation. Breath is the interface to your state, your body's native command line. So since we're on the same page, let me give you a simple map. When your state changes, it's not just a mood, it's a whole body configuration, breath pattern, muscle tone, attention width, emotional baseline, and your sense of time. Those shift together. You already know these correlations. When you're stressed, your breath gets shallow and fast. When you're calm, your breath opens and slows. When you're confident, your breath is steady and unforced. There's no urgency in it. And urgency kills authority. None of these require belief, it's just mechanical. Now let's move into why the usual approach backfires, and what to do instead. Most of us try to push our way into a better state. Effort is great for lifting weights, but it's terrible for stabilizing states. Because effort tightens the breath, and tight breath broadcasts one message: something is wrong. Then your world gets interpreted through that signal. So here's the pivot: you don't breathe to get something later, you breathe as if the state already exists right now. So your body recognizes it as normal. And when recognition happens, your system quietly reorganizes around that baseline. So let's test a tiny version of that together. Let your next exhale be a touch longer than your inhale without forcing it. Notice your shoulders, your jaw, the speed of your thoughts. We didn't change your calendar, we changed the signal. Now, I want to ground this in everyday proofs, so no jargon, just what we already felt. When panic hits, your breath locks, your attention tunnels, and your movements get jerky. But when power is present, your breath slows and it deepens on its own. You use fewer words and your movements get more precise. When attention or charisma is real, it isn't performance. It's breath, attention, and stillness held long enough that people feel you before they understand you. If you felt any of that, you already know that interface works. So this is just a question that I'm putting out there, you know, a quick check for you. If you've noticed, your breath change before your thoughts caught up. If you have, keep that in mind. So here's the part that trips most people up. And this is where the work actually is. Changing state isn't hard. Staying until it stabilizes is the work. So every state has a threshold. The old state isn't running, and the new one isn't stable yet. That zone feels very agitating and weird. And your nervous system flags danger and pushes urgency, craving, and overthinking. And most people bail right there, right before integration begins. But the practitioner stays. So here are two cues to tell you you're crossing the threshold. One is your breath becomes natural again, unforced, and effort drops. And there's a quiet sense of this is normal now. Let's also name the environments we're all living in because it matters. You're not broken, you're just paced. A lot of modern systems compress time, always on urgency, constant alerts, endless scrolling. And compressed time creates reactive breath, narrowed attention, and constant external reference. And stillness gets mislabeled as laziness. So you keep moving without asking why. The reset isn't an argument, it's slowness. You batch the noise, limit alerts, and add more gaps. Your nervous system resets through slowness. And breath is how you reclaim your pace from the inside. So before I leave today, let me make the practice clear what it is and what it isn't. This isn't breath control, and you're not forcing calm, you're not chasing bliss. You're removing interference so your baseline can reappear. When resistance drops, state reorganizes naturally. So let's do a 1 minute micro practice together. No posture tricks. Sit or stand exactly how you are. And let your next exhale be slightly longer than your inhale. Don't push, just a touch longer. And you want to feel for a natural pause at the bottom of your exhale. Don't hold it, just notice if it appears. Natural pause equals integration, and forced pause equals strain. So now you want to also widen your attention. Include your hands, your feet, and the space behind you. Let the breath be ordinary, a little slower, unforced. If an urge to do something pops up for you to email, fix, check, see it. When I mean see it, You notice that, and you soften your breath, and you keep your attention wide. That's a threshold cue passing through. What success looks like right now is very simple. Your breath feels a bit slower, a bit deeper, a bit less urgent, and that's enough. The most common mistake here is trying to breathe correctly. Correctness is irrelevant. Consistency is everything. So here's how to live for this week: frictionless and doable. One practice a day. Pick a mundane moment, either waiting in line before opening your laptop, park in your driveway. 60 to 90 seconds. Let the breath be slow, unforced, deep, and naturally pause. No urgency. Use fewer words internally, minimal explanation. Let your body register. We are not in a hurry. Then act. Small, clean action. What you'll notice over the week is that as breath steadies consistently, your baseline shifts. Life starts to respond to that signal without you pushing. Duration, not intensity, is the key variable here. And so here are a few fast answers to common questions so you know you don't have to ask them later. How long until I feel something? So I want us to think consistency over intensity. Baselines change they change by duration, right? So the longer you do it, your baseline, starts to shift. Another question you might ask is, what if I get restless? That's actually the threshold. You want to keep your attention wide during that moment. You want to soften your breath, and you just remove any urgency to do anything, and it passes. Another question is there a right technique? The answer is no. We're looking for clarity over control here. So you want to give your body a steady signal it can hold. Let's land this. Breath isn't a trick for later. It's the interface you already have. And most people overlook it because it's always present. And what's constant and quiet is usually foundational. If you can feel your breath, you already have access. One practice a day, don't force anything. Notice how breath shapes your experience. And let that state do the heavy lifting for you.